Well, welcome back, everybody, to part 3 of our 3-part 2023 deer hunting in Pennsylvania deer addiction style. Part 1 was archery, where I ended up getting a beautiful 8-point buck, had some great sightings. And if you haven't seen that, you can click the link here. Part 2 was Pennsylvania rifle season, where my boy Justin took down another beautiful 8-point, and you can click that link here if you haven't seen that. Now we're to part 3, and I'm just going to call this story Goliath. We had a beautiful 8-point, the biggest 8-point I've ever had on the property. Remember, I shot a 145-inch 12-pointer in 2020, which was my best hunting season ever. But this is the biggest 8-point I've ever had. He actually was on the neighbor's property earlier in the season. I may have had one picture of him, but I'm not sure. But he started showing up. He loved the neighbor's corn, he loved my apples, and he ran that corridor and sometimes popped down into the food plots, as you saw opening day of archery. And then a week or two later, I had him again, not in range, but I had him out pushing does around, and I was trying to surgically tighten that noose on him. Ultimately shot my buck on November 15th. Now we're fast forwarding the last day of rifle season. We got my buddy Cuba, rookie luck. He's ran out his luck because he skipped out on the hunting camp. And as a result, you know, he's now dealing with bucks that are very sketched out. And he tried a couple different locations, just not able to get a legal buck with enough light, with enough time to be able to make it happen. So I decided to do something I haven't done since 2017, which is take a big walk around my property. It's a large rectangle. It's about 125 acres. And I was going to leave that and just make a big loop. Where he was located was kind of in the center. I let my neighbor know that I was going to do the same, so because I was going to be walking towards him, so if he wanted to get up in a stand, maybe he'd see something pop out too. So they get there, I get notified that they're in their locations, and I just slowly start walking through. This is not a drive, it's just more me walking, and if I see something bounce out, or if I don't see it, maybe one of those guys gets lucky. So as I was walking, I walked the front ridge, and as I came across the front ridge, we've had that 14-inch snow. It's crazy snow in the middle of rifle, and it had smashed all the old abandoned fields flat, and I saw fletchings of an arrow, and I walked up on that thing, and man, my mind went crazy. Here's a buck with an arrow half out of it, kind of up in no man's land, top lung, left side, just below the spine. But it's a crossbow bolt, and my neighbor uses a vertical bow. And I knew my buddy Steve had shot a buck during late October, and I texted him, "What fletchings do you use?" Well, he's colorblind, so he didn't know. So I said, "Ask your wife, look at pictures." And he said it was 2 green and a white. This buck's arrow was 2 greens and a white, but I'm gonna walk you up on him. It was Goliath. All right, I'm filming this for my buddy Steve, who is a fellow deer addict. He came over Halloween, came up and hunted this property, and he shot one. We came out after giving it 3 hours. He knew he stuck it pretty good, but the arrow did not pass through. He was shooting a crossbow, and we trailed that thing for 4 hours. It never bedded down. We never pushed it. It never dropped more than 2 or 3 drops of blood ever. And it was feeding. You could see it circling around, and Steve, all he knew is that the arrow was halfway in him, and it was in a great spot, and the deer kind of fell forward, and then it took off running, and then started walking. It wasn't hunched up. My twin brother was in. We were all going to hunt the next morning. We ended up not hunting that morning and hunting the next night, and 2 more days. The last spot we saw blood was maybe half a mile from here, a quarter of a mile at least. And I was doing a little push today on the last day of rifle, and I saw a green arrow sticking up, and Steve was using a green crossbow bolt. He shot the deer on the left side, 20 yards away. And I think we found his buck. Let's go look at it. I think you can see the antlers have whited out, and he just died there. Look, it's a little high. This is his arrow. Unbelievable. He stinks. He's rotten. It's a shame. This is not how we like to see big bucks go down. I'm gonna pull him out of here. Let's look at him. His antlers are all buried underneath there. Underneath all that water. That's Goliath, guys. That's a giant 8. Oh, he stinks. Look at this deer, guys. He's got a bump here. That's him.
That's him. That's awesome.
Oh, he stinks bad. This is his buck. And I tell you what.
Congratulations.
He owes me.
Mm-hmm.
I know he hates that this was wasted. He hates it. And we hunted that trail as hard as we could. And you can see it's high. Try to figure out what happened here. There's a pretty good hole. There's a 3-inch hole from the arrow. Oh God, it's horrible dead animal smell. It was up in no man's land. What you call it, right below the spine. The arrow moves. I don't think it's through him. Oh my God. I'm messing up the arrow, the broadhead. I can feel it messing up. Yeah, 2-blade rage, exactly what he said, chisel tip. It's a shame. I'm happy to know the closing of the story of Goliath. I just hate that it went down this way, but I'm also glad I took that walk on the last day of rifle because it closed the chapter. And I'm just pumped. I mean, it's a great shot. It looks like a great shot. If any of you made this shot, you'd say this deer would be dead. I mean, it was in the lung cavity. It was below the spine. I don't know why it didn't pass through unless it just hit the spine. And that's, anyway, I will never know. But the buck is dead. Goliath is down. And Steve is taking Goliath home. And congrats to Steve on a great buck. That's 3 great bucks off of the property. That's about what we can manage off of that property. My 8-point, my boy Justin's 8-point, and this beautiful 8-point. He measures just over 130 inches. I don't have the official score. I think he's going to be 130 to 132 after deductions in the high 120s. Beautiful buck, 18-inch inside spread. Anyway, we'll be getting back to chestnut videos, habitat videos. We're going to do summary of how we did with our 2023 farm goals, what we're doing next year, how we're going to make it happen, what our plans are for food plots, what things have we done to try to improve our food plots, and of course, we're going to have plenty of chestnut videos. So make sure you subscribe. Can't wait to see you all back here. I appreciate every one of you. If you can click that like button, I'd appreciate it. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Have a happy holiday season. Hopefully you had great success out there in the woods. Deer Addiction, Sangle, out.